Hello, everyone. This is Michael Delacorte, alias Mike the Microphone, here to bring you.
Here's a touching story. Once upon a time you died, and I lived happily ever after. The end.
All of you see me as Miss Perfect. I represent true love. I have little faults. I was flawless in my wedding dress, walking down the aisle to marry my true love. Shining armor, my knight in shining armor, my love, the special pony who was perfect for me. My special day was almost ruined thanks to the Queen of the Changelings, but thanks to Twilight Sparkle and her friends, we all prevailed in the end. The wedding went as followed, and the reception was great. It was everything I had hoped for when I was a little filly. The wedding night went as expected, my love and I expressed our love for each other, and it all seemed like it was going fine in the next few months. Until I went to Ponyville to visit Twilight Sparkle and her friends for a week. Shining Armor could not come at the time because he was on guard duty. Ponyville was pretty much a quiet little town. Not too many of those around anymore, thanks to job demands and urban renewals. Do not get me wrong, I support every pony working to support their family, but seeing Ponyville for what it was, it looked peaceful, almost like a small town that time forgot. Twilight Sparkle and I, as usual, did our little dance to greet each other. Oh, how much fun it was! Twilight showed me around, starting with her library. The book selection was amazing. She has a lot of promise of becoming a librarian in the future. Maybe she could manage at the castle someday. We went to see Rarity, the fashion pony. She is so frantic with trying to please me. Guess she wants to mingle with the high society. Pinkie Pie gave me this huge celebration that night to welcome me. I just love her to bits. Then there's Fluttershy, who is just a doll. Her animal friends I adore. Rainbow Dash was not big on parties. That distracted her from her practice lessons. I promised her tickets to the next Wonderbolts if she was interested in going with me, as for some reason Shining Armor does not fancy them. With an obvious yes, it was decided. Then there's Applejack, the last honest pony in Equestria. Surely a good pony to know and be friends with. My troubles started, I guess you could say, the first night I came here. The party was being held at Sweet Apple Acres, and almost every pony from Ponyville was there. There was dancing, eating wonderful pies, and most of all, drinking this blessed cider. I love it. One mug of cider later, I was dancing with Pinkie. She tore the dance floor like a mad pony. Her moves were electrifying. Dash joined in, and it was explosive. I just cannot get enough of the cider. Another mug later, I decided to walk outside to see more of the party. There I noticed a red stallion fiddling around with some farm contraption. Sorry, I don't know much about farm names that well, or whatever it was. I'm sure it was vital to the Apple family. I sat down not too far from the barn to get away from the party and just to enjoy the night sky that Luna blessed us with. The red stallion finished up the machine and noticed me sitting by myself sipping some cider. I must have had two already. Twilight and the others tried to coax me back in and kept me company for a bit. Then a distraction or two later, they would be back inside. Something about Pinkie Pie being blindfolded and running around with a sharp object to pin on something. He asked if I was lost. I just giggled and shook my head. Then I said that I was just out getting some fresh air. He introduced himself as Big Mac. Well, the big parts of his name hold up pretty well. He was a tall stallion. She clearly got Shining Armor beat. He walked around my proximity and for a bit, putting things in different spots. At first I tried to watch the constellations, but the sound of metal clanking. I could not concentrate. I looked at him. He looked back and apologized. I just laughed and told him he was not doing anything wrong. I then asked him why he was not inside either. He just said that there was still some work to do and did not want to deal with it earlier that next day. Pretty acceptable, I admit. Was not too long until he came back with a mug of cider for himself. I was almost out myself and wanted to fetch another, but I felt like talking. Big Mac was truly a remarkable pony and being very helpful and loyal to his family business. He explained what he does and what his responsibilities are. Normally, I was never interested in businesses, like I said before, despite me having a file-sitting service back then. Why did I quit, you might ask? Fools himself. Yes, I grew up along with them. I noticed Big Mac had a different brand of cider than I did. He told me he grabbed a mug of the alcoholic cider. I was intrigued. I had no idea they made a cider with alcohol in it. I asked if I could have a sip. He warned me that if it had a different taste and it had an extra kick to it, what could possibly happen? I had champagne at the wedding. I took a sip and boy was it strong. It tasted interesting. I went back to the serving table and asked Applejack for a mug of the alcoholic cider. She commented, saying I should kick it up an extra notch. Maybe if I drink more of it, it will get a better taste. Went to Big Mac, who still sat there. We continued our conversation into the hours. I'm not sure if this was the cider talking, but Big Mac was pretty handsome. Wait, no, I guess he looked handsome before. All big. Had big muscles. Well-toned flank. His freckles were cute. He talked like a true gentle colt. Even acted like one. Gave me the best seat outside in the barn. Nothing more than a haystack, but I was in a bubbly mood. Wait. How many ciders did I have? 1, 2... Wait, does that count the ones from earlier? 3, 4... I don't know why, but whatever Big Mac said to me was just funny to me. I kept pressing on his cutie mark like it was a button. I laughed harder. He just chuckled and rolled his eyes. He excused himself to go back to work. I told him to stay, but insisted that he go. Oh no, that big beefcake is not getting away from me. I tracked him down into the barn where there was a lot of hay, found him on the rafters moving hay around. I gradually climbed up the ladder and almost lost my footing. The ladder fell onto the floor and I was hanging onto the edge. Big Mac pulled me up and asked if I was okay. I just threw my arms around him and told him that he was my knight in shining armor for helping me. I planted a big kiss on his lips. He backed away. I knew he was shy and told him he did not have to be. Come on, give Cadence some lovin'. I remembered I did not give him my name and told him not to worry about it. He asked if I had a boyfriend. I just told him that my boyfriend was a big stick in the mud and thought about getting back at him. I knew it was the cider talking. I asked if he had a girlfriend. He said sort of and was not sure about it, but wished to move it further. I complimented him more and saw him blush. But the cider made me say, I don't wish to repeat them, even if I could remember some of them. Then the big differences between Big Mac and Shining Armor came into play. A lot of similarities happened, like laying me down gently on my stomach and looking me slowly, sizing me up, and taking me finally. Big Mac lived up to his name, and I moaned like a drunken whore and begged for more. More and more. Told him to do whatever he wanted. My body was his. His sculpted body was perfect. After what it would have felt like hours, we both fell down in the hay. My hair was a mess. I was breathing heavily. Big Mac just lied there sleeping. Big Guy was so exhausted, so was I. That was my mistake of sleeping right there next to him. Before I knew it, water was thrown on us. Big Mac and I scurried to our feet and found Applejack with a bucket and equipped with a mad face. Twilight was behind her with her hose over her mouth, not sure what to think of the situation. The rest of her friends had their mouths open. My heart skipped a beat. I looked at Big Mac, who looked at me, then scratched his head. "What in tarnation has happened here?" Big Mac shouted and tossed the bucket to her side. "Big Mac, what did you do?" "How could you, Cadence?" Twilight muttered once. This time she shouted it and cried, "How could you?"
Wait, Cadence as in Princess Cadence? The Princess Cadence of the royal wedding a few months ago?
Twilight, Applejack, I can explain. I tried my best, but it was no use. I was a bit drunk and hit on Big Mac. One thing led to another. Now I'm confronted by my sister-in-law and her friends. The smell of sweat and sex was still in the air. What would happen after the party? Twilight Sparkle lost faith in me. Not sure if she would run and go tell her brother that I betrayed him, but she was sure mad as hell at Big Mac, saying that he took advantage of me no matter how much I tried to explain. She even threw out all my luggage from her library and told me to go find a motel. Applejack was mad at me too, calling me a hussy, saying if I could not keep my end of the promise, then she would have never helped me at my wedding. Twilight and Jack got into a huge verbal fight, and there was not much speaking with each other. The others. Rainbow Dash flew away, but not Rarity. But not before hearing from that she took pictures. Pinky said that the party was still fun, but looked at me funny, saying that I was the only thing that went wrong. Rarity went on and told all her mere friends. Fluttershy said nothing. Maybe it was for the better. The whole town whispered as I walked past them. Big Mac had his fair share of judgment, but to be fair, he did not even know who I was. He treated me like a lady, and it felt great, but I ruined his life too. He would get hissed at, yelled at, for ruining a fairy tale marriage. Not be long before Shining Armor hears about this. He can get mad at times, but at this level, I do know what he could do. I was so dead. I betrayed my husband and had no reason to do so. Big Mac was a nice pony, and I hope nothing ever happens to him. I'm too scared to even go back home to our house. I could not face Shining Armor. I took the promise and threw it all away for some stupid cider. Now I do not even want to look at the stuff. I remember hearing a story, it was called Genesis, I believe, where a male pony was tempted by a female pony with an apple. How fitting. Was tasting the forbidden fruit worth it?